and Sixers, that's on ESPN at 8 p.m. And streaming on ESPN Plus anytime, you can go inside the mind of Kobe Bryant as he breaks down playoff performances on detail. Every morning, come on, get up with the Get Up crew. That's 8 a.m. Tomorrow, they'll be breaking down the big games in the Eastern and Western Conference tonight. On Get Up tomorrow will be Richard Jefferson, and right here in for Jalen Rose, Richard Jefferson.
Oh!
So, the much-hyped matchup between the Warriors and Rockets has turned into not a discussion about basketball per se, but really a discussion about how basketball is officiated. It's a little disappointing because the game was so good, but there's new information.
Tell me
so
more.
What the Rockets have done is they have sent to the NBA a breakdown of not game 1 of this year, but game 7 of last year's finals. The Western Conference Finals. As you remember, this is per Zach Lowe and Rachel Nichols. They got this information from the Rockets, and here's some of their conclusions of this analytic breakdown. There are 81 potential missed calls and non-calls. That cost the Rockets a total of 18.6 points, and they said, quote, referees likely changed the eventual NBA champion. You know what? I thought about this game, and I was like, it's interesting. I remember some other things that happened during that game, but what do you think of the Rockets sending information about last year's playoffs to the league in the wake of that game 1 that we saw?
No one cares. No one cares. No one cares.
I like this
No
response.
one cares. They're like, what? So? And?
Yeah, do you want me to time travel?
What do you want to do?
Do you want me to time travel? And also, I remember that game distinctly. I distinctly remember that game because I love that game and I love that series so much. And I've actually got my own conclusions from that game that I wanted to send to the world.
Yeah.
Here's my audit of their audit. Houston missed 27 straight threes during a stretch in Game 7. So if you look at their percentage from 3 points, which is 36.2, 27 times 3 times their percentage is 29 points that they cost themselves. Take that for data, Daryl. You know what? Guess what? You can point the finger
honestly,
at the officials.
I'm going to be really honest. Like, there's some cuss words I want to use. Right, like I was the first one to say, hey, the first half, it was poorly officiated. The referees addressed it, and I thought they did a better job in the second, right? They're never going to be perfect, but this type of petty clownishness that you want to send stuff from last year's finals and you want to show, look, take that data and put it wherever you want, but no one cares. Tell your guys to go play better.
Make basketball shots, play defense.
Look, forget all the calls. Forget the mysteries. The Chris Paul injury was something that was probably the most impactful thing.
Yeah, how many points a game was that?
Or did you fire your trainer because they didn't stretch him enough? Like, look, everything doesn't go the right way. So for you to go back and say, well, look at all of this stuff, it's like, dude, did they miss any calls? If you're only looking at this one-sided, did they miss any call for the Golden State Warriors? Did they miss anything for them?
It all feels petty.
It is petty.
The pettiness continued when Steve Kerr was available to the press yesterday.
And he should have.
Let's listen and watch Mr. Kerr.
Hang on. Jeez. Foul, man. Foul.
It's disappointing because the focus should be on two teams who played extremely hard. I mean, watching the tape, both teams just got after it and competed. But in the modern game, a lot of players have gotten really good at deception, creating contact. I don't remember people falling down on three-point shots. All the time when I played, it was a different rule. Once you release the ball, you were allowed to make contact. There was no foul.
Okay.
Oh, jeez.
Steve Kerr wants the focus to be on basketball, and of course, Daryl Morey got this information about Steve's press conference and the fake flop and, some of the things he said about how the Rockets are handling the series. So Daryl Morey went to Twitter and he tweeted this. Just a little reminder that Steve Kerr was fined for criticizing NBA referees a couple years ago.
Everyone does.
The pettiness is just escalated to a certain level.
No, Draymond's my funny. It's like, hey, sometimes calls are missed. Like Draymond, do you remember the referee situation with the Warriors and them earlier in the year, the referees?
Of course.
So, look, if you're on the winning side, you're always going to be like, it happens.
That's what happens.
And
that's
part of the game.
Yeah.
Right. And so I like that part. But my thing is this. They have been to the conference finals 4 times in a row. They've been to the NBA finals 4 times in a row.
Yes.
4 times.
And the conference finals. Factually correct.
They've won 3 championships. The one that they didn't win, they were up, right, with us. Whatever. I'm not cracking jokes, Warrior fans. I'm just saying they have been the most dominant team in basketball.
Yes.
Then go beat them. Then go beat them. Right? Like, our analytics show that this could affect. Like, shut up. Shut up and go play basketball, Daryl Morey. Right? Daryl, show me your basketball numbers.
First of all,
right?
No Daryl Morey slanders allowed.
No.
I love Daryl Morey.
I'm not here.
One of my favorite GMs in the league.
I think he's amazing. But this is the part at the time where you say, go shut up and play basketball. This is what you tell your coaches. This is what you tell your kids. This is what your players, right, say inside the locker room. This is not me telling Daryl Morey to shut up. This is me saying at some point in time, you need to look at your guys and either we have enough or if we don't. And if we allow everything else, and he's feeding into it, he's making it harder for his guys to just go play basketball because they're going to have to answer questions about him.
This. Like, one thing that happened during this game is you could tell they were thinking about the referees and how the game was called. You could tell that both teams were trying to get calls, which is just part of what both these teams do.
Yes.
But watching those 2 games last night, didn't feel that way. A little bit with Kyle Lowry, but it was like it didn't feel like these were 2 teams trying to get calls to win the game. It felt like they were 2 teams trying to make buckets to win the game.
Everyone is trying to get an advantage. And look, when they were tracking the officials and they were tracking all the calls that the official makes. So I know that Michael Smith doesn't call travels, that he calls the least amount of and ones in the league. And then he's paired up with Chris Johnson, who calls the most amount of 3 seconds. And they're taking all of this data and they're giving it to their players. So the NBA got to a point where they said stop, right? And so it's like, they're looking for an advantage. I get this. But no one feels sorry for you, Houston. You're going against one of the greatest teams ever assembled. Like, you need to make shots. Like, all of these excuses, like my whole thing and anything in life, well, the same thing I would tell my kid. Is there anything that you can done better? Control what you can control.
First.
Look in the mirror.
You point the finger and look in the mirror first.
And life is not fair. It never will be fair. Right? If you give yourself the best opportunity and it doesn't go, and I know it sounds that simple, but listen, I've lost to the champion on every level. I lost in the national championship game. I lost in the NBA finals twice. I lost in the Olympics to Argentina. Then I lost to Detroit in 7 when they won a championship. I had been losing to the champion for my entire career. Like, I'm not looking around blaming the world and saying, oh, well, if they would have done this. Like, I lost to Duke in the national championship and Jay Williams had more fouls than Steph Curry did, right? Like, that's part of it. And I'm not saying it's acceptable, but the minute you make that the focal point, Daryl, like, if he were to walk into the locker room and say, hey, look, I believe there are some things that need to be addressed. I will address them privately. I have discussed them with my team. But at the end of the day, I want my guys to focus on what they can focus on. And that means that they need to make shots and they need to play better. We'll keep working away at officials. That's a boss move right there.
It is. We will preview Game 2 between the Warriors and the Rockets later. And next, me, you, and Method Man will keep it moving.
If only there